All right, welcome back to the deep dive. You know the drill. You send us the stuff, and we dig into it. Today, it's something pretty unique.
Yeah, looks like we're diving into the CNS workout by Pete Sisco. Definitely not your everyday workout routine.
Nope, not at all. And that's why we're here. We want to figure out what makes this approach tick. Why Cisco believes it's such a game changer for building muscle.
Definitely. It all starts with Sisco's early days in the weight room. He noticed something interesting. This whole idea of intensity was pretty fuzzy.
Right, like everyone talked about it, but what did it really mean?
Exactly. Cisco, being a physics guy, knew that intensity had a time component. Work done over time, right? That's what led him to develop the power factor. It wasn't just about how much weight you lifted, but how fast you could move it.
So instead of just carrying a heavy box, it's about how quickly you can move that same box. That makes total sense.
Right. More power, higher intensity. That's what he was after with the power factor. But then things took a turn. About a decade later, Cisco has this aha moment, like he stumbled upon a missing piece of the puzzle.
A missing piece. This sounds interesting.
It was the CNS, the central nervous system. Cisco started to see it as the master switch for muscle growth. His thinking was, it doesn't matter how much you isolate and tire out individual muscles.
If you're not stimulating the CNS enough to kickstart muscle building throughout the body, you're not going to get the results.
Exactly. He was talking about a systemic kind of activation, not just a local response. So while we usually think of muscle growth happening right where you're working out, he's saying it's more top-down, driven by the nervous system.
He uses a really good analogy. It's like when you do a super intense exercise, your brain gets the message that your body's been pushed hard. So it flips the switch for muscle growth.
Yeah, like an adaptation to the stress. But if the exercise isn't demanding enough, if it's wimpy, as he puts it, the CNS isn't going to bother with all those changes.
Hmm.
It makes you wonder if the CNS is really the only thing holding back muscle growth, though.
Right, right. What about all the other things going on in the body? Are there other factors that are just as important?
For sure. There's a ton of complex stuff happening at the cellular level. Muscle protein synthesis is key. But what Cisco is talking about is the trigger.
Ah, the initial spark that gets everything going.
Exactly. He's saying the CNS is what tells the body to crank up those muscle-building processes when it senses intense stress. Without a strong signal from the brain, just tiring out a muscle might not be enough to get things moving.
That's a new way to think about it. And this is where his critique of traditional workouts comes in, right?
Absolutely. He uses the example of trying to build your arms indirectly through exercises like bench presses, lat pull downs, deadlifts, those big movements.
Yeah, your arms are involved, but those exercises aren't really designed for direct arm work.
Right. They're focused on bigger muscle groups. And he goes on to say that even well-structured workouts, even his own earlier stuff like PFT, power factor training, and SCT, static contraction training.
They were all about maxing out the intensity for specific muscles.
Yeah. But then he realized you can't really do both at the same time. You can't completely fatigue individual muscles and max out your entire CNS at the same time.
They need different approaches. So the CNS workout, it has a very specific goal. Overload the entire CNS, not just individual muscles.
Bingo. It's not about feeling the burn in one spot. It's about sending a huge signal to the brain to kickstart muscle growth throughout the body.
Okay, so that explains why this workout is so different from your typical routine.
Yeah, it's got some unique characteristics. First, the exercises aren't about isolating one muscle group. And second, well, this workout is going to push you way harder than what you're used to.
So how does Cisco achieve this total CNS overload?
High intensity is the key. And for him, intensity means work done per unit of time. It's about doing a ton of work as fast as you can. That's what he believes triggers the CNS to go into overdrive.
Okay, so pushing your limits in a short amount of time. Makes sense. But which muscles does this workout target?
Cisco focuses on overloading these muscle groups: triceps, pecs, spinal erectors and hamstrings, traps, calves, and quads. But remember, this isn't your typical body part split routine.
It's about hitting the whole system, not just individual muscles.
Right. And the exercises he chose, they had to meet two criteria. First, they had to be exercises where you can lift heavy. And second, they had to be able to be done in a sequence, quickly and efficiently.
So heavyweight, fast pace, that's intense. But what about the range of motion? We know Cisco has some thoughts on that.
Yeah, he does. He mentions that you could do the CNS workout with a full range of motion, but he doesn't really recommend it.
Especially for people familiar with his other work, like power factor, static contraction, and train smart. where he often talks about training in the strongest and safest part of the range of motion.
Right. He thinks that approach works best for the CNS workout, too. More intensity, less risk of injury, especially when you're lifting heavy.
So before you even think about lifting heavy with this workout, you need to warm up properly, like really properly.
10 to 20 minutes of brisk cardio, then 15 to 20 reps with about a third of your working weight for each exercise. And keep the range of motion super short, just in your strongest position.
He's really clear about that. The warm-up is separate from the workout. It's all about getting your body prepped for what's coming.
And he says, listen to your body. Only you know when you're truly warmed up.
All right, warmed up and ready to go. What's next?
The order of exercises matters. Sisco has a specific sequence. Wide grip bench press, close grip bench press, deadlift, shrug, toe raise, leg press, and toe press. Each one builds on the last, ramping up the intensity.
Okay, but there's more to it, right? He doesn't just do these exercises one after the other. Enter the SuperRep.
Yeah, the SuperRep. But don't confuse this with your typical bodybuilding superset. We're not talking about doing 2 exercises for the same muscle back to back.
Right. Traditional supersets are for overloading a specific muscle group. The SuperRep is different. It's about combining exercises that work different large muscle groups, one right after the other.
And the goal, to make your muscles work as hard as they can in a really short time. It's like sending a shockwave through your entire CNS.
It's not just about tiring out muscles one by one. It's about hitting the CNS with a massive demand, way more intense than just focusing on one muscle group.
Exactly. So let's break down these super reps.
Yeah.
The first one, wide grip bench press, then immediately close grip bench press. Use a weight where you can do 8 to 10 reps, or if you're into static holds, hold for 5 to 10 seconds at your strongest point.
And you keep going back and forth between wide grip and close grip until you can only manage 2 reps or a 2-second hold.
Right. And Sisco says if you can do more than 4 cycles of this, you probably need to up the weight next time.
Got it. What's the next SuperRep?
It's a 3-exercise combo, no rest in between. Deadlift, then while holding the bar, go straight into a shrug. Then without letting go, do a toe raise. After that, lower your heels, relax your traps, and then lower the bar to the floor. That's 1 cycle.
Okay, so deadlift, shrug, toe raise, all in one flow. And you keep going until you can't anymore.
Exactly. If you hit more than 10 cycles, it's time to increase the weight.
Got it. What about the last SuperRep?
Leg press, followed by toe press. Do 8 to 10 reps on the leg press, or a 5 to 10 second hold. Then quickly reposition your feet and do 8 to 12 reps of toe press or another hold.
Keep alternating until you're completely drained.
Yeah, until there's nothing left in the tank. And if you can do more than 10 cycles, think about adding weight.
Now, some people might be thinking, why not just do crazy, intense leg presses? Wouldn't that have the same effect?
Sisco addresses that. He says even if you push your leg presses to the max, you'll still have energy in other muscle groups. The CNS workout is designed to use that reserve energy by working different big muscles in sequence. That's how you really overload the CNS.
It's like tapping into all your hidden reserves.
Exactly. Now, if you have access to that fancy explosive fitness equipment, Sisco mentions a bonus SuperRep shoulder press followed by lat pull down done 4 times.
And with the EF equipment, you get unique feedback during that deadlift, shrug, toe raise SuperRep. You can actually see how much your muscles are working.
That's cool. So considering how intense this workout is, how often does Sisco recommend doing it?
Not very often. 3 times max in the first month, then twice max in the second month, and then just once a month after that. That's crazy. Is it even possible to recover from that?
It's about giving your CNS time to recover from that intense overload. Remember, the goal isn't to constantly fatigue your muscles. It's about hitting your nervous system with a big stimulus, but not too often.
Makes sense. So what about progression? How do you know if you're getting stronger?
Sisco says you should be able to increase the weight by 5 to 10% each time you do the CNS workout. If you can't do that, it might mean you need more rest.
So listen to your body. And if you're already doing his Train Smart program, how does this fit in?
Easy. Just swap out 2 regular workouts for 1 CNS session. That shows you how seriously he takes this workout.
One last thing. Sisco recommends using lifting hooks, especially for that deadlift, shrug, toe raise SuperRep.
Yeah, he says your grip can tire out before your back, traps, and calves are fully worked. So using hooks helps you get the most out of those exercises and maximize CNS overload.
All right, let's recap. The CNS workout, the way Sisco designed it, isn't about isolating muscles or chasing a pump. It's about overloading your entire nervous system with heavy compound movements done in rapid succession.
He's basically saying if you want to build serious muscle, you got to train your brain as hard as you train your body. It's a totally different approach to muscle growth.
Definitely a new way of thinking. He's arguing that by combining those heavy exercises in those unique super reps, you trigger a much deeper level of adaptation, all controlled by the CNS.
Now, here's a thought for you. If the CNS is so important for muscle growth, how much do you think other parts of your life affect your results?
Like what?
Think about your sleep, your diet, even your stress levels. They all play a role in how well your CNS recovers and functions. It makes you realize that muscle growth isn't just about what happens in the gym, it's about taking care of your whole system.
That's a great point to end on. So much to think about.
Absolutely. Food for thought, for